Apparently we're live. Hello there, everybody. I am Susie Gatti. I'm here with Viv Adcock, and we are talking about animals having a job. So, Viv, what do you know about this? I know you especially have been rescuing a lot of horses, no, dogs off the track.
Horses are coming.
Horses are coming. And, those dogs obviously had a job. They were supposed to run as fast as they can, chasing something and win a race. And so then when they come off the track, like, how is that? Like, what happens then?
Yeah, it's funny. We don't really, this is such an interesting topic when you communicate with people. It's like, what do you mean my animal has to have a job? What do you mean? He just lays on the floor, or he chases sticks, or he rubs or whatever. But they've got so much more that they desire to offer. And with the greyhounds, particularly, because that's all they've known. That's what they have been bred through. Their lineage is bred to grow long legs and chase fast things on sand, like you say, and win a race. So for that first part of their life, their owner or their carer or whoever it is that's looking after them, the trainer, is very intent with what they require of that animal. Probably the same for racehorses. Whereas when they get rescued, they get rehabilitated, they either injure themselves or the trainers, they're not winning or whatever. So then they're it's like somebody being in the workforce and knowing what they're trained for and then being just cast out on the street, and they've got no direction, they've got no communication, there's no guidance, there's no support system or what you're supposed to do next. And so they go through quite a big period of decompressing, because as weird as it sounds, they don't know how to be a dog. They just don't know how to be a dog, like to stop and sniff things, or just learning to play, or what's that toy thing? Why are you throwing that thing at me? I don't know what that is, because they've never been exposed to any of this, or meeting other dogs. Often they haven't been socially engaged as well. So meeting other shapes and sizes of dogs can freak them out, because all they've ever seen is a greyhound body, So what I do in the first little while is just, okay, your job is just at this moment to relax. If they need to heal anything, any injury, it's like your job is just to kind of relax and learn to just be, which is the opposite. It's the antithesis. This is what animals do. That will be. That's what they be naturally in their natural environment. So for them, it's then, okay, well, now the job is, we're going to introduce you to being in a domestic situation. We're going to introduce you to hearing the sounds like the refrigerator, or walking on tiled floors, or learning to climb stairs, or, just different things, children running in and out. And so your job now is just to relax as best as you can and adjust. And so, I kind of let them know that their past, their racing career or whatever it was, is now behind them. That was a part of their life, and this is a new chapter. So verbally communicating that, but energetically also giving them that space just to decompress and relax. So that's the first part of the journey. And this isn't talking about, a normal domestic animal. So, for instance, with Charlie, Susie, I mean, what's he now? He's 14 or 15 or something. Yeah. So what, because you rescued him too, like what job did you give him?
Well, for me, it was really that I wanted him to make me laugh. And he was very good at that. And he still is, he does little antics and little things that always make me laugh. And, it really, so that was a very big part, and then the other part that I really wanted from him was that he would be friendly to people, friendly to other dogs, really just a friendly dude. And and then also, like, it was very clear to me, like, I live by myself, and that was a little bit after I got him. We moved into this house where I'm really out there. And so I said to him, at night, when you hear something, your job is to bark a lot and really loud, and he did, and he does still. So, so the job, the jobs don't have to be, like you said in the beginning, it doesn't have to be this elaborate job thing. It could really be so simple. but then it also gives the animal an energy of what it is that you desire. And, we also have to be aware that certain animals come with jobs as well. So basically for dog, the job is to protect us, and so if you want your dog to protect you in a certain way, just make sure you define that job for them. Because, some dogs take that quite far, and they might take it so far to bite anyone who comes into the house, including the cleaning lady and, maybe the boyfriend, or when there's kids coming from another family, like the dog could really go overboard with that. And so you have to really tell them, what does it mean to protect me? Because that job is always there for a dog. You don't have to give them the job, but you have to define the job. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's great, like it's already inbuilt. When you look at, again, the lineage of dogs, they've ascended from wolves. So, they have that in their psyche. They have it inbuilt into their instincts to protect and guard. If they were in a litter, then, they've got each other's backs. So what about a cat? I mean, you've had cats, Susie. I haven't had cats. I've had the pleasure of house sitting and caring for cats, but I've never actually had a long-term relationship. That's so funny. The cat where I'm staying is just meowed.
I know, we heard it. That was awesome. What about the cat? She's like, meow, hello.
Don't forget me. Yes, I mean, you look at your relationship with Paul. What was his job? Because he was how he found his way into your life was amazing too.
That was pretty amazing. And for me with cats, it's a little bit different. So one thing that cats have built in is taking care of entities. And I know we've talked about entities many times, but basically they're Ghostbusters, so they can walk around the house and literally transform the energy of entities and give them a chance to leave and all that kind of thing. So that's why sometimes you see cats like standing there going like at nothing, like zzz. So that part is a job that they inherently have. So that's their job. And for me with Paul, it was like to be really part of the dog family and to do things that were a little bit uncat-like. I asked him to come on walks with us. I asked him to ride in the car with us. I asked him to go on hikes with us. I asked him to walk on a leash. All these kinds of things that were a little bit more dog-like. But for the most part, he really enjoyed them. The leash walking, not for very long. That one, he tolerated it. And then at one point he was like, no, I'm not doing this. And so then he would just come with us without a leash. And that worked really well too. But for anybody else, like, what is it that you really enjoy about your cat? And that could be their job, and so again, it doesn't have to be anything in particular. It's just really important sometimes for the animal to know, where do I belong here in this whole thing, in our life together? What's my
role? And
my role, yeah.
That's a really good point that you bring up too, Susie, because, a lot of people that have animal behavioral problems, it's because, like I said about that person being in the workforce for 40 years and then being made redundant. It's like, well, what, so to be clear, and like you say, it doesn't have to be some elaborate thing that is too big for them to cope with as well, because I'm just thinking of two little dogs that came to talk to the animals class with me once, and these dogs were just completely uncontrollable. They were running the house. They were tearing the curtains down. They were just about eating anybody that wasn't any of their 3-pack members. And wow. She said, I can't stand it. Every day the postman comes and it's like half an hour of absolute screaming, high-pitched mayhem with these dogs just totally losing it. So we used some of the tools. I've talked to the animals and cleared some stuff from them. And then I said, well, have you given them a job? And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, is their job to let you know that somebody's coming up to the door? Or is that, is it to keep the girls company at night, one dog in each bed? Or, have you been? And she said, oh, I had no idea, that. I said, well, let's ask them. So you can actually ask your pet, hey, is there a job that you would like to contribute? Or is there something you would like to contribute to me that I'm not aware of yet? And one of the dogs wanted to sit because there was an armchair right next to the door. So he had prime position looking out the window. These are two little Yorkshire Terriers looking out the window. And she said, okay, what if you just bark once when somebody's walking past, but they're not coming to the house? That's okay. That's fine. Because he didn't want to stop barking altogether. He really enjoyed it. It was his kind of thing. But she said, when somebody comes to the door, what if you bark a couple of times? So she was absolutely amazed about how quickly this dog got it. And she said both of these dogs were really in a very high anxious state all the time. It was very rare that they actually really relaxed and went into a deep sleep. They were on hypervigilance. And in the car on the way home from the class, she said it was incredible. Both dogs were absolutely melted, fast asleep on the girls' laps in the back of the car. And she said, I don't know what you did to them, but she said, I've never seen them asleep this deeply. And these were like 3-year-old puppies from the same litter.
Right.
So it's incredible what it shifts in the animals world too, because it's like you talking to somebody, hey, what would you like to do? What would you like to contribute to the household or to the project that we're working on? It gives them space to actually be received in a different way. So like you said, Susie, it's not just, here's my job, I'm here to chase sheep, or I'm here to catch mice. It could be for your cat, hey, would you be willing to keep me company at night when we're watching TV? Or would you be willing to, keep the children company when they're doing their homework? Or it could be something really what we would consider simple, but it gives them some kind of purpose. It gives them some kind of, oh, I've got something that I can actually gift back to the pack or the litter.
Yeah.
So what about horses, Susie? What do horses want?
Well, I don't know if, the horses' basic point of view is that they do want to take care of us. They, as a species, have really offered their services to us for a long time. And they have been carrying us pretty much around the world. For a long time, it was them who really advanced us to new places and were on our side pretty much for lots of things, And nowadays, of course, people don't require a horse to get from A to B. It's more that now it's pleasure time. And so here too, asking them, I think for horses in particular, so many times with horses, we have their jobs in mind before we actually get them. Oh, this horse was bred to jump. Well, what if this particular horse doesn't enjoy jumping? I've seen this so many times in classes, and I know you have seen it too, Viv, that a horse would be in a job that it really didn't enjoy. Be a racehorse, didn't want to be a racehorse. Be in dressage, didn't want to do dressage. Whatever it might be. And so that one, to me, is a very important part of the relationship, especially if your horse keeps acting up or it's just not performing super well, or you can tell that it's just not enjoying what it's doing. Ask, is this actually working for you? And you might get a no, and then start asking what would work. And, sometimes it's also that the owner has really their mind set on, I want a jumping horse. I want to do competitions. Well, then maybe it's time to find a horse that really enjoys that and wants to go with you and do that, and not one where you have to fight it to jump because it doesn't like it, And I think we sometimes forget that animals too can really have a choice about what they would like to contribute to us. And, and if we actually ask them, and that's the thing, like you were saying about those Yorkshire Terriers, that fell asleep. When we actually ask our animals a question, it really gives them so much space and relaxation. And it always stuns me in classes when we start to really talk to them in a sense of asking them something. The animals melt. They are so enjoying when we really are spending a moment to see, well, what would you like to do? And they're like, what? Are you asking me?
And it's including them in the equation, like you were saying. I mean, so many of the dogs, and I've known numerous horses injure themselves to get out of whatever that expectation is that the owner has. And that's often, it's like, well, I expect you to win races. I expect you to, make me prize money. I expect you to, it's like, well, there's no inclusion of the animal. And that's, I mean, I would love to be able to create more awareness within those racing industries, or where animals are used in this situation, because the greyhound I have now, she did really well. She won a lot of prize money, and it's weird watching some videos of her. I feel proud of her running, because she's just running for the sheer joy of it. But you see all the other dogs that are just, they don't want to be there. They're not enjoying it. They're stressed. And I think this is when I've looked at animals that do really well at a competition level, somewhere they've had this connection where they've pulled in the animal that will win the show jumping for them, because they've actually found this beautiful match. So for anybody watching this, if you have, a desire in the future to compete, or, do something that's a bit more, I guess, engaging in that level with competition, put it out there. Ask, where's the horse, where's the dog? You might breed show dogs, or you might breed show cats or show chickens. People, it's like, where's the next beautiful animal that would love to be appreciated and admired and respected, rather than, I want the next animal that's going to win me money. It's a very different energy. It's like, you're expecting something of your partner that they actually can't deliver. It's not in them. But when if you're employing somebody for a job, or you're looking for somebody, it's like, well, where's the person that's going to absolutely love this role and thrive and actually become better from being in this position?
Totally.
So again, like you say, Susie, it's just including them. It's just including them in, this is your family. You're bringing them, especially if it's a domestic animal, you're bringing them into your home, that it adds harmony. It adds a beautiful energy to the home and the household, not, oh, this dog's tearing the curtains down and it's barking all night and keeping everybody up. And, it can be changed. So,
Yeah. And, oh gosh, I love these stories when things change so quickly, just from really an hour of paying attention to something and really having a conversation with them. And then the entire world changes, to me, that I love that, I really love that, because it just shows that animals are not stupid. They're not just, something you bark commands at. But it's really, if you are willing to really be in that relationship with them and then that partnership with them, that it can just go so much further. And thankfully, there are many, many, many people now that talk about that with all kinds of animals, where it's no longer about, be the master and make sure that you're the boss, but it's really like, okay, hey, who are you and where are you at, and really honoring that in the animal, and then really also seeing what can they deliver. I'm playing with a young horse right now. She's just coming 3, and she's really not mine, but she's staying here. And so I've been playing a little bit with her, and because she got a little bit aggressive with the person who owns her. And I realized, like, her response to any kind of pressure is, I'm going to attack you.
wow.
Wherever she got that from, it's not from her mom, but wherever she got that from, she has decided this is what I have to do. And so now, not to try and overpower that. I can't have a fight with a horse. She's going to win the fight. She's going to kick me in the head and I'll be dead. I know. So, but convincing her that there is another way, convincing her that, hey, look, there's a little bit of pressure, and now you did something and that worked and the pressure went away, like, yay, how cool is that? And baby steps, but to really show her, look, this does not have to be your response. And I know that if I if I was to force her even more when she does that, if I would go really after her, we would get into a full-on fight, you know, and I wouldn't desire that, number one. Number two, a horse like that would not make it very long. You know, somebody's going to decide this horse is dangerous and has to be put down. And that's the thing too, really meeting the animal with where they're at and seeing, well, what's going on for them, you know, and it's never the same for all animals. So you have to be willing to adapt a little bit and see, oh, where are they at? And then, you know, see what they can deliver. And I think that's important too, to really know, what can my animal deliver?
Yeah, and I mean, the dog that I have now, I'm so grateful for the trainer, because obviously in that kind of industry, you meet anywhere, people from here to here, you know, with some degree of awareness or 0 degree of awareness. It's all about the money. But the trainer who actually raised and raced my dog did a really good job. You know, she wasn't traumatized too much. She wasn't frightened of people. And so there are some amazing people out there that actually know how to reach the animal and receive the animal. And I think that's something that is massively missing in most people's worlds. They don't receive the actual being that the animal is. So thank you, Susie. Another awesome conversation. Thank you.
Yes.
Everybody watching us now or in the future, and we'll be having more of these, so stay tuned. Anything else you want to add, Susie?
No, just if this conversation intrigued you, go to talktotheanimals.com. There's some more information about the tools we're using, and you know, this way of talking to animals that we are practicing is a little bit different than regular animal communication. It has some other tools, the tools of access consciousness. So if you are intrigued, check it out, talktotheanimals.com.
We thank you for joining us, and very grateful to the Animal Kingdom for opening so many doors, infinite doors into infinite awareness. So thank you, my dear friend Susie Godsey.
Thank you, Viv.
Enjoy the summer where you are, while we shiver and shake in winter in Queensland, Australia.
Australia, yeah, exactly. Keep your nose warm.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.